This case shocked the courtroom. Man with multiple drunk driving offenses stood before the judge once again. What happened next shows how serious repeat offenses can become. Only months later, the defendant committed the same offense again, drove while his license was suspended. Even while out on bond, he kept repeating the same crime. He was charged again just days later for driving without a valid license.
Again, I find that quite deceptive. Then, in 98, he picked up another case, the same one. So, I mean, it's just repetitive, and that's the point. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. 98, a month later, boom, another alcohol charge. 1998, boom, violated bond, another act of deception and bond violations, driving while your license restricted and alcohol as a minor. Now, underneath number 10 of 28 of your criminal history, it was dismissed, but it appears that it was dismissed as part of the pretrial agreement in number 11 of 28 because they're the same offense. 3 months later, into 1999, while on actually these last 11 and 12 of 28 all occurred while on probation. Again, you got a minor you had a minor with a blood alcohol content in 1999. You had already by 1999 at least 5 or 6 driver license suspended. And then a month later, you had another case, but that one was dismissed. It looks like it was dismissed as part of a pretrial agreement with number 14 of 28, the same thing, driver license suspended. 2 months later, another conviction here, and you're on a probation violation. A couple weeks later, 1999, more deceptive activity, driver license suspended, and it was a probation violation. 4 months later, you did the same thing. It's just repetitive, time after time. In 2001, you received a period of probation, and sure enough, you violated it within 2 weeks. No, a month, 1 month. And then it continues in 2000, more of the same charges, and again, more probation violations. 19 of 28 violated bond. You've got a larceny. So I'm seeing this repetitive issue of deception. Then we get to 2001, another probation violation, same old stuff. 2 weeks later into probation on the next case, you violate it, you pick up a larceny in a building, which gets reduced to a larceny. So you got crimes of dishonesty. Number 20 of 28, how?
The judge questions how probation was ever considered successful. The defendant violated probation almost immediately. More crimes followed, including assault, shortly after earlier arrests.
Now here, you start to get a little bit more aggressive. Now you're into disrespecting law enforcement because you got a flee and elude, driver license suspended, and then that's where you get your third drinking and driving. And so right here, what did I note? Marijuana and alcohol together. Marijuana and alcohol are your downfall. And she got sent to inpatient treatment in 2005. But it did not stick. Why? Because in 2011, you're back to another drinking and driving. Then, 2000 so you make it, looks like you do make it about 7 years, and then you pick up more driving license suspended and open intoxicants in a vehicle. After that case, you made it barely 2 months. I'm sorry, well, that next case was dismissed, so I'll disregard that. And now we're back here. And I'm going to tell you, this is horrific. The fact that you did not kill yourself or kill another person is incredible. Somebody called in the middle of the day, 4:25 on a June day, driving down South 37 Road near East 46 Road, which puts you in Cherry Grove Township. Somebody sees you drive your Ford F-150, which, by the way, you shouldn't be driving. You don't have a license. I can't imagine you got insurance. And you drove into the ditch. You pulled out, kept driving, made it to Burger King. Then you went to, but you couldn't, you were unable to make a stop completely at the Burger King. So then you continued to go to Arby's on the far end of town. So that's at least 3-4 miles away. And when the police officers approached you told you to get out. You said no. You refused to comply. You stated that you just wanted to get your food and return home. Well, home for you is quite a ways away. McBain. You wanted to get food and drive to McBain. All right. Well, by the way, this traffic stuff didn't start anywhere near McBain. It was out on the west end of Cadillac. But you refused to comply with the deputy. He then opened the door and had to unbuckle you and pull you out of the car.
Inside the vehicle, officers found empty and unopened beer cans. There was also a nearly empty bottle of Fireball whiskey. Prescription drugs and marijuana products were found as well. The defendant tested positive for marijuana and refused further testing.
To take you in, and then you tested even higher than you did at the scene. You tested at the scene at 0.21, and then it went up to a 257, and you had both marijuana and alcohol in your system. So somebody, this Good Samaritan, even approached you and tried to tell you, get out of the car, shut your truck off, stop driving. And you continue to do so. So it is beyond acknowledged. It's so obvious to me that while you might need sobriety court, you haven't done anything with rehabilitation, according to this report. It's 2009, so 16 years you've been out there. And I'm concerned that you're going to kill yourself or kill someone else. Court assesses a $68 state minimum fee, a $130 crime victim right fund fee, a $300 court cost, a $500 fine, a $300 attorney fee. There's typically a request for some kind of restitution here. That is
$200 to the Wexford County Sheriff's Office and a $100 prosecutor fee, Your Honor.
All right, we'll add those. And so the next thing here is, Mr. Peterson, I know what's likely to happen, and that's okay. But I'm going to set the message here for this court. You score a straddle cell of 5 to 23. I don't need to find reasonable grounds, but I do need to establish the proportionality and reasonableness of the sentence. Over the last 20 years plus, you don't seem to care for authority. You're not supposed to be driving a vehicle. You haven't had a license in a long time, or at least not illegal. Nothing legal. You shouldn't even have a car to drive. You shouldn't own a vehicle. You shouldn't drive a vehicle. The law says you shouldn't drive one. It says you can't.
The judge says the defendant continues drinking and breaking the law. His behavior puts lives at risk every time he drives. The court sentences Mr. Peterson to 18 to 60 months in prison, with 6 days of credit for time served. The judge states the sentence is fair, reasonable, and justified because of the defendant's long history of ignoring the law. Public safety is more important than the defendant's job.
That's the sentence of the court. Pursuant to the pretrial agreement, the defendant has the right to withdraw his plea.
We would exercise at this point, Your Honor, and withdraw the plea.
Thank you. The court therefore withdraws the plea. The case will be placed back on the court's docket for trial. Thank you very much. We are, I'm sorry, bond hereby continued.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
This case is a powerful reminder. Repeated mistakes and ignored warnings eventually lead to serious consequences. Justice isn't just about punishment, it's about protecting lives.